How's it going? Welcome to this month's Patreon Rewards exclusive video. We are going to be ranking all of the Nancy Drew games, or at least the ones that I've played. Fortunately, there is a spot on this for never played, which it turns out is actually a pretty good number of them for me. So it's about honesty is what it is. I'm not just going to be going based on vibes. I just want to shout out to Luke Dunn and Jiminy's Journal, who both suggested this one. It was a great suggestion. I can see why people voted for it. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first one, the other problem is I have to know what the cover art is, and I don't totally know what all of the cover art is. So I'm gonna be cross-referencing with all these files and windows I have open to make sure that I don't fuck it up. Okay, so I know the first one I haven't played. That's Danger on Deception Island. I have not played that one yet. It's on the list. We're going to do all of them eventually. Okay, so the next one. All right, let me see. I feel like I know which one this one is, but I have to double check. I wish that if I on Tier Maker, if you scroll over, I wish it would tell you what the game is, right? And it hasn't. So I'm just sort of oh, I don't know. Let's see. I'm going into my Steam library to see this one. Hopefully I remember to cut this part out because it's boring for people. I mean, let me just Google this. Nancy Drew. Oh, it's the ranch one. It is. It's Secret of Shadow Ranch. Got it in one. Hell yeah. Secret of Shadow Ranch, I remember being very delightful. That chef character was suspicious from the jump. I felt like the puzzles were pretty good. We had a handsome cowpoke man to speak with. I think this one's A tier for sure for me. No doubt about it. The next one's Curse of Blackmore Manor. Oh, this is the one with the little girl. Okay. All right. So the next one is Nancy Drew Curse of Blackmore Manor. This one had that creepy little girl in it. Most of the puzzles were good. I remember a couple being frustrating, but there was a lot of mini games within the games that I found very fun. I thought the whole thing was pretty spooky, which is delightful to me, obviously. And the fact that the whole thing was being done by the spooky, evil little girl is kind of a great ending. I was into it. It wasn't my favorite, but I liked it. It's going into, that's a B tier for me, for sure. Now this one's gotta be fucking... All right, this is gonna be the most edited video I've done because I can't let anyone see how much Googling I'm doing to make sure that I'm not saying the wrong game and then everyone accuses me of being a fake fucking fan. Nancy Drew Secrets of the Old Clock is the next one. That's the one where you go back in time, she said while Googling to make sure she's correct about that. Nancy Drew Secrets of the Old Clock is the next one, and it was good. That's the one where you get sent back in time for absolutely no reason. The game never explains it. You're just back in time for whatever, and you're driving around. Oh yeah, the driving was annoying. I remember the driving being annoying, but the characters we dealt with were very funny. The solution to the mystery was hilarious and great. All of the voice acting top notch. I think my biggest issue was definitely it would be A tier for me, except for the car bullshit, which I hated. So that's going B tier as well. Okay, this one is Blue Moon Canyon. That one is S tier for me. No doubt about it. That one was, I believe, the first one I played, and I loved it so much that I wound up playing a bunch of the other ones. A lot of my soundboard is from this game. The You Go Girl is from this game. That's powerful. That's amazing. What's not to love? Great game. The Hardy Boys are in it. Wonderful game. Moving on right along here. The next one is Danger by Design, and that one is also very, very good. That's the one with all the fashion, and you're in Paris, and there's that lady with the great ass. Also, you go into the catacombs at one point, which you want to do in a mystery game in Paris, but most importantly, you do defeat the bad guy with Kung Fu for no reason. This is not a game mechanic that shows up in any other Nancy Drew game, and it's very out of left field, and I love it. We have to reward them for taking risks. So this is going to be S tier for me. Okay, The Creature of Kapu Cave is the next one. We did not play that one. So it's going in never played. I think at the end we're going to have a good list of games to play because we also haven't done White Wolf Creek. That's going in never played. Now, the next one is the Crystal Skull. That's the one where she goes to New Orleans. I really liked this one. I thought the mystery was really tight. I thought that the puzzles were good. The end of game like danger zone that Nancy winds up in was a lot of fun to figure out how to get out of. And I thought that the voice acting work was genuinely so funny. It was crazy. Listening to all of these people who do not have Creole accents attempt to do that accent was simply remarkable. Cannot recommend more. That's going to be an A for me, for sure. For sure. Phantom of Venice is the next one. And the thing about Phantom Venice is it's not a perfect game. It's got some puzzles that are frustrating. However, you also can dance in a cat outfit in a club. And it's where we learned Scopa. It's where we learned to play Scopa. It's got to be S rank because it is simply the only one I would ever open up again so that I could play Scopa. It's got to be S for Scopa. Next one's got a lot of books. Secrets Can Kill. That's the very first one. We haven't played that one yet. So that's going down here. If I'm not mistaken, this is the remaster of the exact same game. It's very silly to have both on this. But I have recently purchased the remastered one and it's downloaded and waiting to be played. Maybe we start another Nancy game this week. That's my thought. I don't know. On to the next one. The Haunting of Castle Malloy was very fun. I had a good time with it. It was spooky. I thought the puzzles were really solid. This is the one where you have to learn how to bartend also, even though you're a teenager and they shouldn't let you do that. I thought this one was really good. I'm giving this one an A. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the one that has a jetpack in it for no goddamn reason. So it's getting an A. For sure. Okay. The next one is Ransom of the Seven Ships. Haven't played it. There's a lot of these I haven't played. It's very exciting to me actually because I simply wish to play more of them. So this is making me feel very amped. The next one is Warnings at Waverly Academy. I loved this one. Nancy Drew going undercover in an age-appropriate way in a high school. How is she ever going to blend in a high school as a high school student? Simply not possible. All of those mini games to get that one girl to give us all that information. So fun. The deeply weird behavior that every student exhibited, but all in different ways. I think this one's an S rank for me, actually. I really liked Warnings at Waverly Academy. Trail of the Twister is the next one. We have not played that yet, but if I'm going to take a guess, the culprit is a tornado. Thoughts? The next one was great. That one was Shadow at the Water's Edge. That was the one where Nancy went to Japan. I stayed at an onsen, and it was not done with a lot of cultural sensitivity, one could say, based on the fact that there were many Japanese characters from Japan, and only one of them was voiced by an actual Japanese voice actor. The rest of them were voiced by American voice actors doing an accent, a deeply problematic accent. So, for that, we have to knock it a little. However, it was genuinely scary. The puzzles were good. There was one puzzle that I didn't like in the end game. I remember being very frustrated about it, but then I got immediately jump scared by like a ghost of like the girl from The Ring. Also the fact that it turned out to be a douchey tech bro who was at fault. Perfect game. Other than the things I said that I did not like. So, because the things I said that were bad were pretty egregious, that kind of takes it down a couple pegs. But the characters in it were really good. A lot of the puzzles were really good. All the places Nancy could go was very exciting, getting to use the train system to go to different places in Japan. But everything I said that was bad was really bad, so that's gotta be a B, unfortunately. The next one is The Captive Curse. That's the one where they went to Germany. I liked the Germany one. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a blast. The German accents were on point. The woman who's sitting by a fire and won't help you unless you bring her food, deeply relatable. The terribly thought out card-based board game, remarkably fun. I'm gonna give this one an A, I think. Nothing about it to me says I want to play it again, but I had a great time when I was there, you know? Alibi and Ashes is the next one. That was an interesting one because that's the one where a large chunk of the game you're not playing as Nancy at all because she's been framed for arson. Oh no! But it is fun because you wind up having to play as her stupid friends and they suck. And so, like, the gimmick is good, but after a while, you're kind of like, I wish I could play as Nancy and not as her dumbass boyfriend, Ned. The characters were great. Wandering around Nancy's hometown, finding out she's secretly, like, the richest person on the planet. Very, very good. I enjoyed this one. I'm giving Alibi and Ashes an A for Alibi and for Ashes. The next one on the list is Tomb of the Lost Queen. We did not do that one. This is the easiest category. The Deadly Device. Okay, I haven't played this one, but the cover art for it looks very funny. This is absolutely I'm sorry, I keep scrolling on accident. That's going to be happening at some point soon. The next one is Ghost of Thornton Hall. This one was spooky as hell. It turned out that the house wasn't haunted. It was just a carbon monoxide leak. However, you can still get killed by the ghost. So which is it? The mystery was good. I was genuinely afraid when I was playing this one too. Like, I thought it was good. I'm giving it an A. Okay, the next one is The Silent Spy. We weren't able to finish this one due to the Great OneDrive disaster of 2022. I don't remember when that happened, but it sucked. But this was the one where we find out how Nancy's mom died. We meet that impressive cat burglar. I remember I was getting a little stuck and frustrated at one point with the puzzles, but the story seemed good, and I imagine that eventually I would have finished it. I would have liked it. However, I'm giving it a B because if I'm not mistaken, the reason I set it down initially was because I was getting really frustrated with one of the midpoint puzzles. And then I didn't pick it up again for reasons that were unrelated to the game and not the game's fault. But I put it down for reasons that were the game's fault. And I think that that's fair. The next one is The Shattered Medallion. I don't believe we've played this one. Yes, this is one that's about a reality TV show. Looks very exciting. Haven't played it. Going on the list. I felt like I had played more of these, but it turns out the ones I did play, I just talk about unendingly. And then there's a bajillion more. Okay. This next one is Labyrinth of Lies, another one that looks really, really good that I tragically have not played. But looking at like some of the graphics of this one, some of the puzzles, it seems like it will be a blast when we play it. And I genuinely cannot wait. It looks very good. Next on the list, Sea of Darkness. Oh, that was the one where she went to Iceland. That was fun. That was the one where we learned a lot of Icelandic words and phrases. I thought the puzzles were really good. I had a great time with the accent work that the voice actors were doing. They were great. I'm going to say this one's S tier. I really enjoyed learning the Icelandic language and I thought the puzzles were good. Actually, no. You know what? I'm sorry. I take it back. I am bumping it down to A tier simply because I would still rather play Scopa. Like the lack of mini games, I think was something for me. You know what I mean? Like I need a cute little mini game. And if I'm not mistaken, other than the like learn the Icelandic language trivia game, there wasn't really anything. However, it was fun. I did like it. It definitely gets an A from me. No notes other than could have used a Scopa-esque minigame. Midnight in Salem. I don't believe we've played Midnight in Salem. We definitely haven't, but apparently there's food involved. It's in the food bundle. That's great. I'm going to need to get my hands on that game. That's very fun. Next game is Stay Tuned for Danger. We also haven't done that one. That one's one of the earlier ones. They hadn't quite figured their shit out yet, and I would really like to check it out and see some of the older Nancy Drew interfaces that we both know and love. Message in a Haunted Mansion, we did play. We did play this one. Message in a Haunted Mansion is the one that is in San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken. It was the one that had a lot of the problematic stuff with the Chinese language. Charlie was in it. He's secretly living in the hidden room in the mansion, and his face looks like this. Yeah, that's absolutely what his face is doing. I thought it was pretty good, not tremendously memorable. Nancy has a lot of mysteries where they're in haunted mansions, and as far as those ones go, I don't think it's as good as like Thornton Hall, you know? I'm going to give this one a B. It's just a little, early. We haven't quite figured out the interface yet. Charlie's face is very unsettling. I think that's the right place. That's the right spot for it, for sure. Treasure in the Royal Tower is the next one. That's the one at the ski resort. That one was pretty wild. I remember the traversal on this one was a little challenging. I found the ski resort difficult to move around in, but I did think that the mystery itself was very intriguing. The incorporation of Marie Antoinette was bananas, given the fact that the game does not take place in France. It doesn't. Got a lot of really funny characters. The photojournalist is in it. Professor Hotchkiss, she's the one who says, "Shall I peep?" This is the game that gifted us Shall I Peep. So it has to be, I'm going to say an A, simply because it gave us Shall I Peep, but to me was not the most memorable of games. Boys are wrestling. Can you see and hear them? Fellas, please. I'm trying to do something important. We have a couple in a row here that I haven't done. This is the final scene. And then Secret of the Scarlet Hand is the next one. I don't believe I've done either of these. However, they do both look good. I'm interested. Okay. I feel like I'm going to need to revisit this tier ranking once I've played more of these, because even though it felt like we've played a bajillion Nancy Drew games, it's very clear that we haven't. There's a lot to go. So I'm interested to see how my rankings shake out once I finish this. Now, for instance, one thing that's unfortunate on this tier maker one is the new game set in Prague isn't on here. And if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, that one would be my only C tier one. I did not like that one, and I found it actively disappointing. So I would have given that one a C tier for the record. Ghost Dogs and Moonlake we did play. That one was fun. That was that was where we can explode in a boat if we're not careful. I found the traversal very challenging. It's very maze-like trying to get around, so I didn't love that. Also, the sad dog sound over and over and over again was challenging for me to hear. However, I thought the game itself the story was pretty good, but I had a hard time getting past those two things, so I am going to give this one a B. And then the last one, anticlimactically, is not one that we've played. That's the Haunted Carousel. Also sounds great. The idea of a haunted carousel. Oh my god, it's set in an amusement park. Oh, well, we're gonna have to play that one, clearly. That looks great. That might be next on my list, to be perfectly honest. I hope that it wasn't disappointing that I've clearly not played half of the Nancy Drew games. I really thought I had played more, but it turns out I haven't. I'm a fake fucking fan. I'm so sorry. But the ones that I've played genuinely rank from I loved the game to I liked the game. And again, the only one I was disappointed in was that new one. And that's simply, I think if the game's technical issues had been smoothed out before release, it probably would have gotten a B for me. Like, I just didn't think the puzzles were particularly spectacular. They're kept hinting at there being like a fun mini game, and then there never was. With like the guy with the cards, and they never taught us a card game that was just collect the cards, and I found that to be actively disappointing. Also the part where a cat was trapped in a wall and I couldn't help it, and so I was just mournfully meowing the whole time, made me feel very sad in my heart. However, it gets a C because even though all those things added together equal what I would say is maybe a B level game, it gets a C because it's on the lower end of B, and on top of that, the technical issues made it almost impossible to play correctly. So that's my tier ranking for the Nancy Drew games. We clearly have a lot of work that we need to do and are going to have to revisit this once I've played more of the games. But the ones I've played so far, I love them. I love this series. And I think that even the ones that aren't very good often have things in them that are tremendously entertaining. So shout out Her Interactive. I do miss the old Nancy voice actor. Bring her back. What get Lonnie on the phone. You need her. You need her. I hope you enjoyed this tier ranking video. I hope that my opinions are non-controversial and you all love them. And I hope you tell me how smart and right I am in the comments. Tune in to stream this week as I play one of these games. Who's to say which, but it's probably the one that's in an amusement park. Who am I kidding? Okay, bye.